Hey guys, how you going? Hope you're all doing very well. This evening I'm going to be doing another movie review. This movie is a horror film from the UK and Thailand. This is a co-production, English language, released in the year 2017, directed by Richie Moore, and this film is called Who's Watching Oliver? So Who's Watching Oliver is about a man named Oliver. He's very socially awkward, he's a recluse, and he's dominated by his very evil mother, who he connects to online. So it's obvious that she's far away, but she's very close to him in his heart. And so she is basically forcing him to do horrible things, such as get women from these nightclubs and actually take them back to the apartment and deal with them in a very horrifying manner in front of her. So she gets a lot of pleasure out of this, and Oliver is going to do everything his mother says. But then his life, as he knows it, is going to be interrupted upon the arrival of a very beautiful, mysterious stranger. And this stranger is starting to show Oliver that there is happiness out there, and maybe Oliver can actually lead a normal life. So this is what Oliver tries to do, but in order to do that, he has to break free of his domineering mother, which is going to be a lot easier said than done. So whether or not he can, something you're going to have to find out for yourself, because that's as far as I'm going with my synopsis. Now my thoughts on Who's Watching Oliver. I have to say that I haven't been as disappointed in a film as I was with Who's Watching Oliver in a very long time, based on the fact that this movie has got so much hype. This movie has got a lot of accolades, a lot of people saying it was fantastic independent horror filmmaking, and that it's actually won a lot of awards. And at the end of the day, when I finished the film, I couldn't help but feel that I actually watched a different movie, because I thought this movie was a complete mess. Now, it did have positives. I will say the biggest positive is it actually looks very good. It actually had that horrifying atmosphere. I thought the overall, it looked very competently made. It has some very shocking moments that really pushes the envelope, that took me by surprise, and so that's something I liked. And there were moments where I thought it had a deep and meaningful message about, manipulative people upon vulnerability, and how that vulnerability can be spun, and the people that are committing these horrible things might not necessarily know exactly the full extent of what they're doing. And so underneath all the mess, I actually thought there was a solid story, and there was actually a platform to leap off to actually make a very memorable film, but I just didn't think the movie had the awareness. I thought the movie was a complete caricature of itself. This is a caricature of mental illness. This is a caricature of serial killer films that have been done before, but unfortunately for Who's Watching Oliver, the other films have been done a lot better, is because they had a lot more serious quality to it, and I just didn't know there were so many tonal shifts in this film that I just thought it was so disjointed that I couldn't get into anything. I couldn't relate to any of the characters because they were exaggerating, the actors were actually exaggerating their characters to a point where I could disconnect myself. I thought that this movie was taking place in a comic book, is because there are moments where I thought, all right, well, that was just so badly acted, as that, not necessarily badly acted, but the script just magnifies these characters into something that is laughable. And especially the mother in this film, I thought the mother was horrible in all the wrong ways. Is that, all right, well, it become incredibly irritating, and I wasn't really getting myself into the film. The director wanted you to get into the film, but he's not opening any doors to allow you to do that because of the annoying quality and the very, very strange sort of environment that it's set in. Now, yes, it is very bizarre, and yes, maybe that was a deliberate ploy to get you into the mind of someone who was completely deranged, but I just thought that the choice of music, the introduction of some characters, and how easy they got along with each other, I just thought to myself, this is weird. This is really off-putting, and I just couldn't relate to anything. And because I can't relate to anything, I just lost interest well before the end. The movie does sink quite rapidly towards the finish, is because all the ideas have been worn out, and because the overall, the potential the film had was lost under all of the mess. It just doesn't allow itself to rise up to make anything that is going to be terribly memorable. Now, yes, as I said, this is a very nasty film. There are some very extreme moments, but those moments were there just to wake the viewer up. These are the moments that just to be rebellious. It didn't really have anything going behind it. And so the characters I really couldn't relate to. I thought, the main character of Oliver, the actor actually did a reasonable job at portraying this person, because there were glimpses of sympathetic qualities, but then there was something that happens that just took me off guard, and it just really prevented me from getting into Oliver's plight. This is a movie that should have been about a guy who was doing things that he basically, that's all he knew, and that he was a product of his environment, that these manipulative people in his life were controlling him, and he was trying to break free of that because now he's met someone. And so, all right, well, that's an interesting idea. It's an idea that has been used, and it's a recycled idea, but if it was done properly, then combined with the really shocking nature that the film had, it could have been at least watchable. But unfortunately, it just prevents itself. I thought the soundtrack especially was was really, really bad. If you see the film, you'll know what I mean. And the end of the movie, I just thought it didn't really make sense, and it just become a film that I was bitterly disappointed by. I just thought it was poor, and a lot of people like it, and each to their own, and I'm sure I'm going to get a bit of hate for hating this film as much as I did, but I just didn't get all the hype for it. I didn't get all of the accolades. I didn't get all of the positivity that has actually been thrust upon the film. But that's the beauty of movies. Each and every one of us gets something different, and unfortunately I just didn't get anything from this movie. It was incredibly disposable, and as a result of that, I'm only going to give Who's Watching Oliver 1 star. Alright guys, that's it for my review. Hope you enjoyed it. Till next time, keep watching movies, and I'll see you later.